Close your eyes, take a deep breath, and let the world around you fade. Together, we will journey to a realm where myths come alive and mysteries whisper their secrets. This is your moment to pause, to wonder, and to escape.
Medea, the Dark Priestess of Hecate. A child of the sun and shadows. Medea was born to two powerful lineages. Her father was Aeetus, king of Colchis and son of Helios, the sun god, while her mother was born of an ancient mystical bloodline. But unlike her radiant grandfather, Medea did not wield the burning power of the sun. Instead, she was drawn to the dark, whispering magic of the night. She became a devoted priestess of Hecate, the goddess of witchcraft, learning the secrets of herbs, potions, and spells that could bend the will of men and call upon the spirits of the dead. While her father ruled Colchis with an iron strength, Medea ruled in the shadows, feared and revered for her abilities. But fate had other plans for her. One day, a ship like any other arrived on the shores of Colchis. A ship called the Argo, carrying a band of heroes led by one man, Jason. The Golden Fleece and the Betrayal of Blood. Jason and his Argonauts had come to claim the Golden Fleece, a divine treasure guarded by King Aeetus. But Aeetus had no intention of giving it away. Instead, he challenged Jason to impossible tasks: yoking fire-breathing bulls, sowing a field with dragon's teeth, and facing the sleepless serpent that guarded the fleece. Jason, despite his courage, would have perished had it not been for Medea. But the gods had already intervened. Eros struck Medea's heart with an arrow, filling her with an uncontrollable love for the foreign hero. Consumed by this unnatural love, Medea turned against her own father. She used her witchcraft to tame the fire-breathing bulls, whispered incantations to make soldiers born from dragon's teeth turn on each other, and lulled the great serpent into a deep slumber so Jason could steal the fleece. With the fleece in their grasp, Jason and Medea fled Colchis together. But their escape was far from clean. Aeetus pursued them, determined to reclaim what was his. Desperate, Medea committed her first great atrocity. She lured her own brother into a trap and slaughtered him, cutting his body into pieces and casting them into the sea, forcing her father to halt his chase and gather the remains of his son. Medea had chosen Jason over blood, and for that, she could never return home. The rise and fall of Medea in Corinth. For years, Medea stood by Jason's side, using her magic to protect him and ensure his success. When they arrived in Colchis, Jason's homeland, she even used necromancy to restore the youth of Jason's father. But when the king of Colchis refused to recognize Jason's claim to the throne, Medea deceived the king's daughters into killing their own father, tricking them into thinking they could make him young again. Banished for this crime, Jason and Medea wandered until they found refuge in Corinth, where they built a life together and had 2 sons. For a time, it seemed that Medea's sacrifices had been worth it. She had given up her family, her homeland, and her honor, but she had Jason. Until she didn't. The wrath of a witch scorned. Years passed, and Jason, once the man who owed everything to Medea, betrayed her. He cast her aside, choosing instead to marry Colchis, the young princess of Corinth, in pursuit of power. Medea, a woman who had once defied gods and kings for him, was suddenly nothing more than a discarded shadow. But Medea was not one to suffer in silence. She'd given up everything for Jason, and now she would take everything from him. First, she sent a poisoned robe to Colchis. The moment the young princess put it on, the fabric burst into flames, burning her alive. When her father, King Creon, tried to save her, he too was consumed by the magical fire. But Medea's vengeance did not stop there. She knew that true pain was not in death, but in loss. If Jason had cast her aside to build a new life, she would make sure that life was never his to enjoy. She turned to her own children. Though her heart ached, she knew there was only one way to break Jason completely: by robbing him of his legacy. She murdered their sons with her own hands, ensuring that Jason's bloodline would end with her. As Jason crumbled in grief, Medea fled Corinth on a chariot drawn by dragons, a gift from her grandfather Helios. She vanished into legend, her name forever tied to vengeance, power, and the dark arts. The legacy of Medea. Medea's story is one of devotion turned destruction, of love turned fury. She was not a mere witch or a vengeful woman. She was a force of nature, and bound by the laws of men or gods. She would later find refuge in Athens, where she attempted to manipulate the king of Aegeus. But her reputation as a sorceress and murderer followed her. Eventually, she faded into myth, her fate unknown. The lesson of Medea. Medea's story is a warning. Power without restraint leads to destruction. She was brilliant, cunning, and more powerful than most. But in the end, she was consumed by her rage and vengeance. She sacrificed everything for Jason, only to be betrayed. And when she struck back, she destroyed not only him, but herself as well. Her story teaches us that love should never come at the cost of self-destruction. Medea gave everything for someone who never truly valued her, and when she finally realized it, she had nothing left to lose. She became the monster they feared. But the truth is, she was only ever the monster that they created. As the whispers of myth fade into the stillness, carry their magic with you into the world. Until we meet again, may your spirit wander, and may your days be filled with wonder. Thank you for listening to Whispering Myth.
If you enjoyed this story and want to hear more, be sure to subscribe to Whispering Myth. That way, you won't miss out on any of the magical tales that I share. Don't forget to like this video and leave a comment. Thank you for listening, and until we meet again, may the whispers of myth guide your dreams.